What's one unexpected use of a pure tool that you've seen in the wild?
Unexpected use. For me, having so a lot of organizations I've worked at have some kind of the pure course I'm thinking of is personality typing. MBTI is one, Strength Finder, Strength is Strength. There's a whole bunch of these. And typically we're forced to, sit down and use these. And the reminder in that course of, all right, these can be useful tools, but we need to be careful around how we utilize them and how much stock we put in them. I am at the point where I've done so many of these, I just kind of write them off as being useless, which is not a good mindset, I don't think, because they do have some value. And so that course for me, it struck another chord internally of like, hey, we have this tool, make sure we're using it appropriately to help improve the project and not just forcing the project team to do it, but also not relying on it so much that we forget that these are people and not just a rating on some kind of chart explaining who they are. So that was unexpected in the sense of like, hey, I can actually use this because I am doing all of these typing tools and I might as well get some value out of them.
Nice. Okay, Russ, I'll come to you with the same question. What's one unexpected use of a pure tool that you've seen in the wild?
Well, for me, it's definitely been the self-care course. I think, especially as you go up in leadership or you start working a lot, like sometimes you forget about taking care of yourself. So I think that having that course kind of put that reminder back. And even in my daily work, I've been talking to some of my team like, hey, like you got to take care of yourself. You got to do some stuff like that. And then also the productivity one. I think, on top of priorities, being productive and just having those good strategies on how to stay productive. I think those two courses right there were helpful, if I know for me, and just everything that I'm working on right now. So I don't know about you guys, but those are definitely some good self-reflection, which I think is something I always need.
The self-care one I found really interesting because this isn't to big you up because you're on the call, by the way, Rob. But I really found it interesting because I think as project managers, you get into a really good habit of focusing on the goal, focusing on the progress, and thinking, okay, this is tough, but I can get through it. I just need to work harder, put more hours in, drive faster, and I will get there. And I think it's a very thin line between being focused on the outcome and pushing for progress to burnout, which is really a thin line that you've got to keep an eye on because it's very easy. So something just falls away behind you and you don't notice that you're really working against yourself now, which was a bit of an education piece for me, to be honest.
I was gonna say, even last week I went on vacation. We went out to the woods of Tennessee out here, and my wife, I looked at my wife and she was impressed. I didn't bring my backpack, so she knew I had no computer with me. I only brought, I had my phone, but like she was like, "You're not bringing any electronics, no computers." I'm like, "No, leaving it all at home."
Awesome.
And so just taking some of those self-care pieces, just drop it. Like I've done what I have to do. I told the person taking over for me knows what they have to do while I'm gone. So it was applicable there.
That's great to hear. And I was going to say that course came out of my own burnout and realizing like, all right, I need to stop and set back and take time to make sure I don't go crazy running this project.